Hello everyone and welcome back to Animation Pilgrimage, where we watch every single theatrically released film in order.
Animated film.
I missed that part.
Yep.
Every single theatrically released animated film in order.
We don't care about those other films.
It's not like there's anything else out there. I'm Sean.
And I'm Tennille.
And this week we are watching that was last week. The 12 Months.
Yes. The 12 Brothers, the 12 Months. This one is interesting to Google search because when you Google, it's like the 12 months, and then Google wants to autofill in of the year, and like it literally just be like, well, in case you're an idiot, it starts with January and ends with December. Like, thanks, Google. No, I'm looking for a film. So.
It's another Russian film.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I want to say this one's probably also based off of a musical. Maybe?
It's based off of a play/musical.
Okay.
Which
it definitely feels that way.
The person who wrote the original source is known in the USSR for adapting Shakespeare plays into Russian, and he's a poet, and blah, 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 blah. I didn't really know what his name was, but sounded pretty cool.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah. And, I actually really liked the story of this.
Really?
And I'm not too surprised that we are going to see another adaptation of this film, because while I was trying to search things up for this, I found out that Japan actually also does an adaptation of this film in 1980.
That's really interesting. Is it also animated?
Yes.
Oh,
it is
cool.
also animated. So, we'll get to see that one too eventually. And I'm interested to see how different it is, knowing Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know.
I'm guessing it won't take place in Russia. But who knows? I might be wrong.
Maybe not.
Whatever, let's talk about this version.
Yeah, let's talk about the movie. So, summary?
Yeah, let's do summary.
Okay.
So there's Cinderella and her evil stepmother / single stepsister.
Yeah, it's very, very, very Cinderella. It has like a lot of the same story beats and like character moments. But it's definitely different in a few important ways. So you have a little girl who's going out to the woods to collect wood for her evil stepmother and stepsister. And along the way, she meets a man who works at the palace.
Yeah, some random Joe Schmo soldier grandfather character.
Yeah. And he's out there trying to find a Christmas tree for the queen.
Mm-hmm. He's the same, like, white-haired, jolly-faced looking Russian guy that's in every single one of these Russian films we've watched so far.
And I love all of them, honestly. It's just a very appealing old man character design. I'm just like, aw, yeah.
Imagine Santa Claus, but generally without the beard.
Yeah, I'd give that guy a hug. But they meet up out in the woods, and he helps her, and she also helps him find a Christmas tree. But while they're out in the woods, he tells her the myth of the 12 months.
You can see all the months at the same time during New Year's Eve.
Exactly.
Spoilers, it's New Year's Eve.
Yeah, it's New Year's Eve. So why the queen is getting a Christmas tree now must be a Russian tradition or something?
Yeah, maybe they do Christmas at the turn of the year or something.
I don't know.
Or at least they did in this story.
Yeah. But while the old man is talking about the queen, he says like, oh, well, she's actually a girl your age.
But she has no parents.
Yeah, she's also an orphan. That's how they
which-
kind of get talking about it, because the girl says that she's an orphan, she lives with her stepmother. The old man's like, oh, well, I work for the queen, and the queen's an orphan as well, and she's about your age. And then it cuts to this queen.
And she refuses to learn.
Howdy.
talk about children with power.
I think about halfway through this movie, I turned to you and I'm like, I'm starting to understand why the Russian royal family was all killed off violently. And you were just like, whoa!
Whoa, too soon.
Too soon. But no, I mean, this little girl is a piece of work. I mean, and understandably so. She's a child who's been given command.
Unlimited power.
Yeah, she's been told that, everything she says is law. And so this little girl is constantly, like, humiliating her teacher and kind of threatening him with
beheading.
Death. Yeah, even though he's just trying to teach her math and science and all that. But during their New Year's party, the queen says that she doesn't like this winter thing anymore. She's done with winter. So
I want these flowers that only bloom in April.
Snowdrops.
Snowdrops. I demand that they be brought to me tonight.
Well, yeah. It can't be the next year until I get snowdrops. And her teacher's like, but queen, they only grow in April. So how? This is impossible. You can't do it. And she's like, all right, fine. I'll kill everybody until I get these flowers. But she also says that whoever can bring her the flowers can get a basket full of gold. So the evil stepmother hears about this and sends her daughter back out into the woods and is like, don't come back until you have the flowers.
Which is pretty much a death sentence.
Right.
Because it's like a blizzard at this point.
Yeah, it's terrible weather outside. And the little girl goes back into the woods and she runs across the 12 months
sitting
brothers.
around a fire.
Yeah. And they're all together. And I love these character designs.
Oh, yeah. They're all very different. And yet you can group them into spring, summer, winter, and fall. And it's really cool because, like, all three winter are, like, these tall, old-looking brothers. They've just got long beards and, like, giant furry coats and hats and stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, the fall brothers are all, like, very jovial, and they all, like, have, like,
well, yeah,
crops
specifically
and
the one that I'm guessing would be, like, August. Has, like, a big bundle of hay or wheat or something.
All three of them had, like, different produce and stuff because, like, their fall, it's the time when you do the harvest and stuff.
June and July are like these twins. I was like, that's really cute. And then the spring ones are all like these very young boys that are like dressed really nicely and in bright colors. And that's where we meet April. And April's like probably... April and July are probably the two most important brothers because they actually get more lines.
January.
Did I say July?
Yes.
Sorry, that's my birth month, so that's the most important month.
Oh.
No, January.
January and April are the most important months.
Yeah, they get more speaking lines than everybody else. But they invite the girl over by their fire, and they're like, we've seen you throughout the years.
We've been watching you.
Well, they're omnipotent god months.
Yeah. But they're all like, we all really like this girl, right? Yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, we're going to do anything we can for her.
Yeah, they're just like, we've seen you struggle, but you've been so kind, even though, you've had all these bad things happen to you. And so they're like, April, you're not engaged yet. Give her your ring.
And so she gets engaged to the girl. Or gets engaged to April.
Yeah.
Which seems a little fast, but okay.
But okay, sure. Well, I'll take it. April gives her the ring and is like, hey, if you ever need us, if you need any favors, just say these magic words and we will come to your aid. And then he also says that, January, can I have an hour of your time? And he's like, oh, but April, February and March come before you. And February and March are like, it's okay with me. We like this girl.
Yup. So April speeds up time for just a small portion of the woods to take it to April so that the snowdrops bloom.
Yeah. And the girl collects a bunch of snowdrops, takes them back to the queen. Takes them back to her stepmother, and the stepmother presents her to the queen, and the stepmother opens up her big stupid mouth and is like, oh, well, I found a lake, and I picked them all myself, and it was so wonderful.
And the queen's like, cool, take me.
Yeah, take me there. And then stepmom's like, oh, all right, well, actually, my stepdaughter found these. I have no idea where to look. So they all go out there.
And, like, they trick the stepdaughter into going out and, like, trying to find them again, but they're following her, and then she finds out they're following her, and then they're, like, this mad dash scene through the forested woods, and eventually the queen catches up and is like, show me where the flowers are growing, and she's like, no, I can't, because obviously it was shown to her by the 12 months.
Right, and the 12 months before the girl leaves tells her, don't show where we are to other humans. So that's why she denies the queen, and she denies her several times, which the queen's just like, I'll have you killed! And
like, takes her ring, like, the queen takes her ring and throws it away, and the girl's, like, says the magic enchantment thing, and then suddenly there's a giant blizzard going on as the winter months come in and pick the girl up and take her away, and then we speed through an entire year.
Yeah, entire year's worth of weather just comes and goes.
And it just, like, torments the queen and all of her lackeys and the stepmother and stepdaughter.
And they save her, and they, like, dress her in these beautiful clothes. Yet again, very Cinderella. She, like, kind of gets her comeuppance, because they kind of refer to her as a queen then.
Yeah, I'm not sure if she's actually a queen or just, like...
She just looks so nice.
Yeah, they're taking care of her, whatever.
Yeah. Either way. And so the child queen is kind of humbled by all of this. Because a lot of her servants just get blown to the wind, and she's just kind of left out in the woods.
Yeah, there's, like, this old lady that just goes.
Yeah.
She gets blown away, and she never comes back.
Goodbye! And the stepmom and her daughter get turned into dogs.
And they'll be turned back into humans after 3 years if they behave.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, okay.
Yeah, and then, and it's nice because the queen actually has a character arc where she learns, like, oh, I should try to be nice to people.
You say character arc, but I think it's a very similar thing to the last one where...
Well, she learns a lesson.
She learns a lesson, yeah.
Yeah, she learns her lesson.
And thankfully, her lesson actually comes at the end of the story as compared to the beginning, like the last movie.
Yeah. Yeah, she learns her lesson to be nice, and it's implied that the girl and her become good friends as they walk back to the town.
Take a sled.
Yeah, take a sled that the brothers provide back into town. And that's pretty much the story, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much the story.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
I thought it was all right.
I think this is my favorite out of the Russian films we've seen so far.
Really?
Yeah.
I would honestly go with the last one we saw.
Really? Yeah, see, and I was not as enthused about that one.
Interesting. I don't know, something about it just struck me more than this one.
No, I found the animation very charming. It's kind of like last time. I was like, hey, cool, they stepped away from the rotoscoping, and now they're doing something a little bit more cartoony. Now I kind of would like to see them step back
and
get a
little median.
Get a little bit more realistic, but not quite so much rotoscope. And I feel like they did that here.
Yeah.
All the human characters look very distinct. Like, I can recognize each one just from, like, a quick, simple image. They all stand out. There's some really cute scenes that granted, are kind of filler with some animal characters
Yeah.
that I liked. There's a song a wolf sings as he's like coming in and he's hungry and alone, and like the little girl has to climb up a tree to stay away from him, and that's how she ends up finding the brothers. But I liked the song. There's a crow that starts this movie and just kind of shows up again in the middle that has an awesome voice. Like, the way the voice actor is doing his voice, I might play a little clip of it here because it's just like, it's really cool. And I like the character design there. And yeah, and I just thought that this was an effective story. I think they told it well.
Mm-hmm.
The animation was good at some points. It was great. And yeah, I was just really impressed with the design of it all.
Okay. My counterpoint, I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because this is definitely one of the first movies that we've actually kind of been a little divided on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's bad by any means. No, it's like definitely one of the most enjoyable Russian films that we've seen so far. But I actually thought that some of the animation looked a little stilted, or like the characters were jumping around. One scene in particular, like the gentle guardsman, it looked like he was floating around on the screen a bit.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's like that kind of thing just kept popping up, which was something that hadn't ever shown up in any of the previous Russian films, because it was so heavily rotoscope. But even like the last one with
The Enchanted Boy.
The Enchanted Boy, you didn't really see any of that there. And I guess another reason that The Enchanted Boy just stands out to me more than this one is this. I think I preferred a lot of the situations that went on in The Enchanted Boy more than this one. I don't know if it's because it had more animals or just more mystical things, like just the random weird sequence with the statues. I really enjoyed that, even though it had like next to nothing to do with the film. I don't know why, but it's just like...
It stuck out to you.
Yeah, it really stuck out to me. And this film, it's like, it was all, as a whole, all right, but none of it really just jumped out to me as much. I mean, besides the 12 months themselves, I really enjoyed all of their different character designs. I would have liked it if we had been able to see more of the different months do things.
Yeah.
Because, again, it was mostly just everyone's there, and then January and April really did anything.
Well, I like the section where January hands over the staff to April, and the staff turns into something else.
Oh, yeah, that was a really cool effect. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So whoever's month it is, they get the staff, and it changes to fit whatever they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, those are all completely fair points. In regards to the animation, though, I definitely understand what you mean about some of the animation being stilted. It is a pretty mixed bag as far as the animation goes. What I really liked about it was that there would be moments of stuff that... I mean, I would have to rewatch all of this animation again and, like, put it side by side and really look at it, of course. But, like, just watching this for the first time, there were moments in this film that were better animation than anything we've seen in Russia before this. And, like, I could see personality in the characters that I hadn't seen in the characters beforehand.
Okay, yeah, that's fair, yes.
Even if the animation's a little sloppy overall.
Okay. Yes, I will agree with you there.
So, yeah.
Also, the bunny at the beginning is totally just a rip-off of Thumper. Yes.
Sort of. It's a rabbit. It's a rabbit.
It's a rabbit that they were very heavily influenced by the design of Thumper. You cannot deny this.
See, I don't know, though. I mean, I definitely can see an influence. But we just saw The Enchanted Boy, and, you know, a lot of especially the cute, fuzzy woodland animals all have that very similar design feel, where it's like the very round cheeks. And granted, all of that could have come from seeing Disney films. I'd be kind of surprised if it had absolutely nothing to do with Disney, because it's just so similar.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just
right. But
kind of more obvious than anything else before this.
I just want to give them a little bit more credit and being like, well, but, you know, it's not like he sticks out like a sore thumb, because the rest of the woodland animals all kind of look like Disney knockoff woodland animals of the early...
Yeah.
Late 30s, early 40s.
This is true.
So, I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So yeah, this would definitely be one I would recommend, but you'd...
I don't know. I was thinking of recommending the last film, so yeah, why not watch both and make your own decisions on which one you thought was better?
Yeah.
I mean, these are only like a year apart, so... I will say that this movie was like a whole 10 minutes longer than the last one. It was like almost an hour long this time.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Like, the movies are slowly getting longer.
And I'm going to be really interested to see... the Japan adaptation of this film.
Oh, yeah. Man, are we going to even... By the time we get there, are we going to be able to remember this adaptation at all?
I think so. I hope so. I might come back to this episode of Animation Pilgrimage and be like, oh, yeah, right.
Right, that's what this is like.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I think that's it for this episode. So...
Next week, we have a film that... Since we've started this project, and I knew we're going to be covering Russian animated films, I'm like, yes, finally, I can watch this one now.
Because this is a movie that has been adapted fairly recently.
Adapted.
Loosely adapted.
It's a pretty loose term. But The Snow Queen is our next film. And this one keeps showing up in my recommended YouTube feed, and I keep wanting to watch it, but I kept putting it off for years. And then when we started Animation Pilgrimage, I'm like, well, I'm going to be watching it soon anyway, so may as well just wait. So yeah, that's next, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so join us back here next time for The Snow Queen.
Я один не сплю, думаю, про беду мою.